Not. Hello and welcome. It is so I'm so happy. I was like, I don't know what I was about to say there. It's so good to see you. I'm hearing myself over. Wow, that's weird. It's good to see you. If you're here live, let me know in the chat. Would love to see who's here, what you're up to, what you're excited about while you're here, where you came from, all those things. Pick one of those questions to jump in. I am Katie. I am the host of this channel, and I've gone through quite a lot of adventures in my 25 years being alive. And so I love to share the things that I'm learning, the lessons, the wisdom, and also just the practical application that I'm always leaning in and sharing with you. Today, we're talking about sleep, y'all. Let's do it. We're talking about sleep, and we're going to dive into a lot of things that I learned about my own sleep, having been someone who had insomnia for a whole year of literally not being able to sleep at all. And then several years before that and after that of really struggling with the quality of my sleep, the length of my sleep. For many years of my life, have not had good sleep. And I know that that deeply contributed to my mental health. It deeply contributed to my creativity levels, to my motivation, to being able to actually get out of bed and feel refreshed and nourished and ready to start the day. Those are all things that are very, very easy for us to take advantage of if we've not experienced the times of lack, right? When we didn't have those things. And so I am incredibly grateful that I experienced really, really rough sleep and even no sleep for a whole year, because at 25 years old, it has taught me so profoundly the things, the simple, and many times the simple things that I can do to get better sleep, and how getting better sleep is such just another profound contributor to my energy levels, my creativity, my motivation, my inspiration, and my overall oomph to be alive. So, we're going to dive in to some of the really simple factors. I'm going to share throughout this live my own story, but most importantly, this is for any of you who are watching that would gain value from this, that might be inspired by some of the things that I've learned and want to lean into truly getting better sleep. So, first and foremost, let's talk about the three things that are super easy, not only to change and shift and adjust. Sometimes I say easy, maybe more simple would be the word. But I'm going to talk about the three simplest things to notice your own patterns around, to shift, to change, that will contribute to your lack of sleep or your quality of sleep. And those three things are food, blue light, and noise. These aren't about having a lack of these things. It's about understanding how they are contributing to your sleep quality. These are things that I learned the hard way. And especially when we're in pain, which I was when I was having insomnia, I was in really critical, chronic pain, where that was definitely contributing to kind of the start, the crux of like not sleeping well. And so already my body was in distress. And so then on top of that, I started doing things to cope with the pain that actually started giving me really bad nights of sleep. Plus, of course, the pain was contributing to just not being able to sleep for long amounts of time. So if you're someone who has chronic pain and that is a huge contributor to your lack of sleeping, please know I feel you. I was there and I have incredible sleep now. So I'm excited for anything that I share to be of support, to spark something, to maybe you have an aha of something that you didn't realize was contributing, or maybe you have some type of awareness that really sparks something for you. So excited for whatever lands and inspires you in this live. So first and foremost, food, your digestion, your intake, the kinds of food when you're eating, all of that is a huge contributor to your sleep. There have been times in my life where I have before I go on, I want to clarify that I am not a doctor, nor do I want to be a doctor. I'm very grateful for the doctors in the world. I have had many, 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 many a doctor looking at me, figuring out what works, figuring out what doesn't work, and really truly like supporting me on this journey of having been in chronic pain for 6 years, finally now being in a place where I'm not in chronic pain anymore. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Um, but I'm very, very grateful for the doctors, the medical field, because they have deeply supported, especially when I needed it most. And what I'm sharing is my own experience. What I'm sharing is my own story and how that gave me the ahas, the wisdom, the information that I have learned that may be supportive for you. Experiment, tweak. These are all things that you have absolutely the safety and the control to be able to adjust and change and shift. These are all habit building activities that we're either debuilding, unbuilding, or we're rebuilding and shifting into something else. So just want to make that very, very clear. So let's talk about food. When it comes to food, what I notice is there's been many seasons of my life where I was incredibly sensitive to the kinds of foods that I was eating, especially at night. And sometimes it was about how much I ate of it. Sometimes it was about when I ate it, how close I ate it to the time that I was actually going to bed. All of those things have contributed. Right now in the season of my life, my body is pretty resilient and like how it's very graceful. It's very graceful about what kind of food it digests and moves on, and I'm grateful that a lot of the choices that I've made that support that are contributing to that gracefulness. But truly, like, paying attention to certain kinds of foods and how they impact your body is going to be really, really important. Obviously, as we all know, highly processed foods take longer for our body to digest, which means if we eat those later at night, then our body is taking longer and putting more energy and effort into, first off, working while we're trying to sleep, but also using a lot of energy that our body now needs to produce and to actually put to work while we're trying to sleep. So I want you to think about that. Like, it would be like turning a really loud machine on as you're going to bed. It would be like working in a construction zone and as you're leaving the construction zone, you're literally turning on one of the machines to just like sit there and like run. Yeah, like not effective, not efficient at all. So it's kind of like that's kind of what we're doing with our bodies when we're eating things that take a long time for our body to digest at night. So what I've gotten to be really present to is like when I'm struggling with sleep, especially when I'm having a lot of things on my mind, or I can tell that my brain is running pretty quickly. We're going to talk about that as well. I can tell that oftentimes that is because of lifing. You're always going to have those moments where you have a higher level of stress, or family stuff is going on, or career things are going on. You're making big decisions. And so there's going to be times where you are up late at night thinking about things. And so you want to set your body, your digestive system up to the best of your ability so that you are giving yourself the best shot of sleeping. So the big thing that I learned, especially through my chronic pain days and through my insomnia days, was I really needed to stop using food to cope with not sleeping. Energy drinks, soda, lots of high sugar, high caffeine types of content. I needed to stop using those things to cope with the fact that I wasn't sleeping. And I needed to actually put things in my body that would support my body in like actually calming down and resting more, even if that was during the day. I remember when I finally started to get more sleep after coming out of the season of like insomnia that was horrendous. And honestly, it meant that there were times where I just slept in the afternoon. Like my body wasn't yet at that place where it wanted to sleep at night, but it would let me sleep in the afternoon, or it would let me sleep. I'm realizing I have like shadow on my face. That's fun. It would let me sleep at a different time of the day, but it wouldn't necessarily let me sleep at night. So it was a little bit of work to like retrain my brain into wanting to sleep at night. But part of that was letting myself actually get tired. So instead of getting frustrated at my body for not having the energy that I wanted, I got to actually surrender into my body is tired physically, mentally, emotionally. My body is tired. So I get to rest and rest and rest some more. even if you're not sleeping, allowing yourself to rest is going to be really important. So, food was a huge contributor. Be present to what kinds of foods trigger you in your body going to work, or even trigger your brain into like kicking into thinking mode. I know for me, like, there were things that would trigger migraines or headaches, which was like sharp cheddar or just like things like that, or like high amounts of caffeine at night, obviously, chocolate, things like that. So just be present to that. That's something to really notice that I learned a lot about, especially during the days where my lack of sleep was pretty heightened. So that's the first thing. The second thing is blue light, internet, digital, phones, computers, laptops, TVs. What are you listening to? Well, we'll get to that. We'll actually get to noise and what we're listening to. But what are you looking at? What are you putting in front of your face at night as you're winding down? Are you, sometimes we actually, it's interesting. Sometimes we actually use video, we use internet, YouTube, social media, whatever. We browse to we say that we're decompressing. I'm resting, I'm chilling, I'm like some people actually even acknowledge it as numbing out and I'm like, "Yes, it's numbing out." But basically what we're doing is before like I'm going to demonstrate this for you. So, think about like this is the line right here of the noise that you currently have, the things you're thinking about, your stressors, your worries, your anxieties, the things you're excited about, maybe even. So that's here, right? And then when we're watching something, when we're turning on our phones, when we're browsing, when we're going through social media, when we're watching stuff at night, what we're doing is we're just raising our noise volume or raising the threshold so that we don't really hear, see, feel this anymore. We're here so much so that we can't actually hear this, feel, see this. And so what we're doing is we're not actually lowering the noise level. And what I mean when I say noise is not just auditory noise. I'm actually saying like mental noise, emotional noise. What are we doing to cope, to numb out at night so that we're not actually feeling our anxieties or our fears or our worries? We're adding more noise. I noticed that I was doing this a lot. I especially did this a lot when I struggled to sleep or when I got excited and I was like, "Oh, it's so much fun. Oh my goodness, I'm having a great time." But then I didn't really have this way of like calming down from that space. Like I was high highs and low lows quite often. And so what I got to start doing is being willing to sit there, not fall asleep and have no noise. Have no TV on, have no laptop on, have no phone on. And it was uncomfortable for a couple nights, and then I had the best sleep that I ever had had because I didn't have all of this noise running while I was trying to sleep. Now, I know that some of you actually feel like watching something before you go to bed actually does this thing to your brain that helps it shut off in a way where like you can actually sleep because maybe you have lots of stress or anxiety or all of that stuff going on, right? And absolutely, it feels like it's helping. And just know that all you're doing is adding more noise so that the anxieties and fears and pressure that you're feeling here isn't felt quite as much because you've raised the threshold of noise. My brother and I were talking a lot about this because it's such a fascinating time to be alive. My generation in particular, Gen Z, is very, very familiar with noise, and yet they're also very unfamiliar with noise. They almost don't know what noise is because it's around them all the time. And yet Gen Z is not the only one that is filling our space and lives and every nook and cranny with noise. Listening to podcasts, listening to music, listening to the news. We have something in our ears all the time. We're moving into noise. Can you tell? But blue light and digital uh, devices, I was like looking for that word this whole time. Digital devices, when we have a lot of blue light in front of us, it's actually triggering things in our brain to say, I'm awake, I'm alive. and instead of actually decompressing. So, there are actually beautiful, amazing things that you can do to decompress. And I actually have a training that I am gifting you if you so choose, where I talk about the difference between routines and habits. And I talk about how we get to focus on the categories of activities that we choose to do that give us more energy, that hype us up, and the activities we do to calm us down, to actually genuinely decompress, to lower that threshold of noise down. The more you learn how to do these things, the more you're going to be able to actually sleep. Now, there are also some of you, like me, who have lots of energy during the day. And if you don't actually expend that energy at night before you go to bed, you're going to be energized. You're going to have a hard time sleeping. I didn't understand this about myself until the last year or so. I actually didn't realize that I get to expend that energy. Otherwise, I am going to struggle to go to sleep at night. So there are times when I have lots of ideas in my head where I have lots of energy in my body still, and I'm like ramping up to go. And it's 9 p.m. and I want to be going to sleep because I want to wake up in the morning and be early and refreshed and ready to rock and roll. But genuinely trying to go to sleep while I have all that energy to expend is actually the thing that I don't get to do. I get to, in some way, write it down, map it out, whatever it is that I get to do, even for a short amount of time, to get those thoughts, that energy out of my brain, my body, whatever, so that I can actually sleep and be restful and to be calm and be in a place where I actually can fall asleep. So, some of you actually may be like me in that way where you have to expend that energy. And by trying to force your body to go to sleep when it can't or it doesn't want to, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. And then you end up waking up in the middle of the day, in the middle of the morning, and it's super, super early. And now your sleep is all off. And so, sometimes we get to understand that our body may get to go to sleep at a different time every night, depending on the energy that you still have to expend. So that's definitely a perspective and a thought for you to be thinking about. We touched on noise quite a bit. We touched on like noise as a very generic thing, like mental noise, emotional noise, physical noise, and actual like auditory noise is what I want to talk about now. This is something that's so fascinating to me because, quite honestly, I have been the one that has struggled with this the most, especially in my family. Like, I'm the one that struggles with this the most because I often feel like I need to have things running in my ears if I am to decompress. So, similar to those of you who are like, you want your digital devices out before you want to go to bed, you want to scroll through social media, it has you feel this kind of sensation of decompressing. And for me, noise is more that way, actually, like listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, listening to like people just doing banter, like whatever it is. I listen to like a lot of I tend to listen to like a lot of like talk show goofy people at night that just makes me kind of chuckle or like zone out potentially. But what I started realizing is because I was adding so much noise, my quality of sleep was less and less. So actually by having things running in my ears, my brain is still running. My brain is still relating to what it's actually receiving in my ears. And so I want you to think about this. Anytime you are actually inputting information, which can be anything, noise, like anything that your ears are hearing, anything that your eyes are seeing, anything that your body is sensationally feeling, right? When you have noise in your space of any kind, your brain is actually working at understanding what that actually is. So the more your space can be crafted and designed in a way where it is not um, super noisy, you don't have information coming into your brain during the night, is actually the best kind of environment to sleep in. And it takes time to get there. So please know, I'm not telling you to change all of your whole life and like completely get rid of all of these things instantaneously. I think that's actually that's probably one of the things we do that is the most, that gives us, it's like, it's a disservice because then we do these big contrasted high highs, low lows, right, left, right. We change things so instantaneously, and then we get frustrated with like feelings that our body experiences and the things that happen, and we're like, "Oh my goodness." And then we don't want to do any of it. And so then we just keep going on the automatic direction that we were going before. So just know you change things little bits at a time and you figure out what works and what doesn't work, and you give yourself the space to actually experiment. Those are some of the simplest things to change for your sleep. So, food, your digestive system, understanding what you're digesting, how quickly it's digesting, if you're turning your body on in a way where it's alive and energized and working while you're trying to sleep, or if you're giving it food that can digest quick enough so that when you sleep, you can actually sleep and your whole body can have that rest. Blue light, digital devices, having them on at night in a way that actually doesn't serve you and has your brain be like, I'm awake, I'm alive. But your body's like, I want to go to sleep. And then noise, auditory noise, the things that you're hearing, the things that you're filling your ears with, and your brain is trying to compute. All of that is contributing into a way that's keeping your body alive and awake while you're trying to sleep. So, those are the three simple things that you can really be present to. I told many of you who were asking and asking and asking on my Facebook posts, what is the number one thing that I have learned in the last several years of, you know, being someone who had chronic neck, shoulder, and back pain, being someone who had 6 major surgeries, insomnia, migraines, eye strain, knee injuries, straining chronic ankle pain to concussions, like, and now I don't experience any of that kind of pain, right? I don't experience, like, literally all of those things are things that are in the past. Hallelujah, amen. Like, I'm so grateful that I don't experience any of those things anymore. And yet, like, there's a lot of lessons that I'm so grateful that I've learned. And so a lot of you are asking, tell me, what's the number one lesson that you've learned in the last several years of going from this kind of life of like constant strain and pressure and, body pain and chronic pain? What are the biggest things you've learned? So I'm going to drop that today. I'll also be posting content about this on Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to come follow me on a different platform, you want to start seeing some of my more daily content, then definitely go jump into my Instagram space. It's where I share everything. Facebook gets some of my stuff, but Instagram gets everything. So definitely drop in there and give me a follow, and I'd love to see you there. What is the number one thing that I have learned since experiencing all of these different struggles in my life? And the number one thing that I've learned is that stress impacts my life in a million and one ways, in ways that I don't necessarily even I'm not even necessarily conscious to it at times. And so sometimes it's this creepy, sneaky little thing that comes in and does subtle adjustments to my life. And then I have the symptoms. I have the prices that I pay that are like instantly bang, bang, bang. And so I will tell you, like, my chronic pain came from stress. My chronic pain came from not acknowledging and working through my stress, through my fears, through my insecurities, through my needing to prove myself, all of the things that were building stress on top of stress on top of stress on top of stress until my body couldn't handle it. And so stress may look like digestive system issues. It may look like upset stomach. It may look like migraines. It may look like chronic pain. It may look like weak ankles. It may look like a million and one things in your body, but stress is so deeply impacting our life at all times. And you're going to have stress as a human being. So it's about learning how to handle it, how to be with it in a way that is actually letting you decompress, letting you have it come in and come out in a way that is genuinely organic and natural and good for you. God made our bodies so incredible, you guys. Like, it blows my mind every time I was beating up my body and shaming my body for how it looked and how I felt and the things that I couldn't do. I was ignoring the fact that God actually created my body in a way that is so incredible. It heals itself, it takes care of itself. It literally communicates signals every single day of what it needs, what it wants. And it's so incredible to me to understand to listen in a way that I've never listened before so that I give it the hydration that it needs. I give it the nutrition that it needs. I give it the exercise and movement that it needs. I give it the stretching it needs. I give it the rest it needs. My sleep is incredible. And all of these things, I'm so grateful to God that I have these things. I'm so grateful that these are things that I can say I experience. And I know that many of you don't. And so there are lots of things that you can do. And I have some of those things that I have learned from years and years and years of experiencing some things that people 3 times my age have never experienced. I am grateful that I've experienced this laundry list of struggles because now I have the practical experience of understanding how to change and shift and adjust these things without medication, without all of these putting all of this stuff in my body that isn't necessarily what my body is producing and already creating, and letting my body literally like heal and adjust and change and transform in the ways that God has designed it to heal and adjust and transform and change. I am grateful that I have those lessons and I want to be able to gift those lessons to you as well. So, as an application for any of you who want to jump into, I have a free training. Well, it's actually not it's not a free training, but I'm gifting it for free for any of you that feel the desire to understand your habits, your routines, how they are going to decrease your stress and increase your energy levels in really practical ways using your brain, your emotions, your body, like using all of the different parts of your body that God has given you, not leaving any of them out. And this is a training that I did that is an hour and 20-minute training for my high ticket mastermind ladies. And I want to gift it to you if it is something that you would love to create. So you'd love to listen to, watch, and create from, is what I mean. So if you want this training, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go into the link into the description below. You're going to click the link that has my Instagram handle on it. It's going to send you to Instagram. You're going to follow me if you so choose. And then you're going to DM me and say, hey, I'm on your YouTube. I was on your YouTube live stream today. I would love, love, love your training. And you asked for the training, and I will literally send you the YouTube link. You don't have to sign up into anything. You don't need to opt into anything. If you want it, it's yours. This is just a gift. I'm like just in so much generosity. I'm exploding. I'm creating content everywhere in the world because I want to get this out there. I want to get my story, what I've learned, what I've experienced in a way that is applicable to you out in the world, unapologetically, in a way that I'm just like breaking my own rules. I don't care. I run a business and I'm just loving being able to create content for people who want to listen and want to actually learn and practice and change the way that they live their life, that gives to their body in a way that nourishes and is responsible. And you are stewarding your energy, your rest, your strength, your mind, your heart, all of the parts of you that God has designed, like really stewarding them in a way that is inspiring to the people around you, that's inspiring to the next generation, that's inspiring to your kids, that your kids are learning from how you take care of yourself so that they're taking care of themselves as they watch you. So that's my heart, my soul. And I'm excited if you watched this almost 30-minute live. Love you all to pieces. And I am excited to see you on the next one. Bye.